Together, the long-standing partners Eneco and Mitsubishi present the plans for their new offshore wind farm project, which will be known as Eneco BorWind. Eneco and the Mitsubishi Corporation have successfully collaborated in the past, building the wind farms Princess Amalia and Eneco Luchterdam. Together, they form a strong and reliable partnership. This new project will be located in the new Borselen wind farm zone, which will be tendered in 2015. This site is designated as a wind farm zone by the Dutch government, which aims to have 2 wind farms with a total capacity of 700 megawatts operational there by 2019. Since this is a project instigated by the government, a lot of the preliminary work and cost will be covered by them and by TenneT, the network operator in the Netherlands. This includes the research into the soil and wind conditions and also the very costly export cable to the shore. This makes building a wind farm at this site a very interesting opportunity, which Eneco and Mitsubishi will seize. BorWind will aim to acquire the tender for Site 2 in this park, as can be seen in the illustration. This was chosen because it is a bigger, undivided parcel, whereas Site 1 is subdivided into 4 parcels as a result of pipelines and cables in the area. The technical design choices for this wind farm are shown in this next clip. How do we get there? The project will be carried out in 2 phases and will include a small area for testing new and innovative wind turbines and a new construction technique. The planning for this project consists of 3 main steps, each containing a number of activities, as can be seen in the animation. As said before, the project will be divided over 2 phases. This strategy has multiple advantages. The most important advantages are: first, the fact that relative cost per turbine is greatly reduced, because part of the wind farm will become operational sooner and will be operational throughout the construction of phase 2. Secondly, the risk is reduced due to increased adaptability. When progressing through the development of the project, more information is acquired, which can be used to improve planning and mitigate risks for the second phase. And third, the experience that is gained by construction of the first phase can be utilized to improve this process for the second phase. A so-called Gantt chart was created to visualize the construction step of the project. The planning for the second phase is not set in stone, however. It is merely an indication. The construction of the second phase can be instigated at a different time, depending on how phase 1 progresses. Note that this planning incorporates an 8-month period of slack before the wind farm should be operational. This conservative planning greatly mitigates the risk of possible delays and all but guarantees that the project will be finished before 2019. The innovative part will be executed in phase 1. 5% of the total capacity of the wind farm will be used as a test site for innovation. This test site will provide a bridge between innovation in development on one side and deployment on the other side. On this test site, Siemens will construct 3 of their new 6 MW turbines in combination with 154 meter rotor blades. In this way, the long-term reliability of these new turbines will be tested. Furthermore, the monopiles for these turbines will be installed using a new technique. This technique entails not driving the piles in by force, but drilling a hole and inserting them. With this technique, the allowed pile driving period that is maintained on the North Sea does not have to be taken into account. Should this technique prove successful in phase 1, it could be used for all the foundation piles in phase 2, greatly increasing the flexibility of this phase. This is an overview of the financial structure of the project. A special purpose vehicle, or SPV, will be founded, which will own all the assets and rights of BorWind. Thus, the risks that come with the project become isolated within this SPV, rather than possibly affecting Eneco and its partners. Siemens and Van Oort, as the contractors that will construct the wind farm, will have a minority share and also bear part of the risk in the initial phase. Because of the high upfront cost of a wind farm, debt capital has to be attracted from multiple banks. First, non-commercial or multilateral banks will be attracted in order to subsequently attract commercial banks. One bank will be in the lead to make the structure orderly. The equity-debt ratio will be 70%, conform current market average. In phase 2, several banks can be bought out of their investment. New banks with a lower interest rate can be attracted, because the project now has a lower risk with phase 1 already operational. When the wind farm becomes fully operational, the pension fund PGGM could take over the equity part of Van Oort and Siemens. Investing at this stage is attractive to parties like this, who invest in reliable projects for the long term. Eneco will commit to sell the green energy of the wind farm through her retail department, and thus provides extra assurance for low risk because of a stable energy offtake. After Eneco BorWind has been operational for a while, the banks and PGGM will receive their agreed return on investment. What is left will be paid out to the private investors. An extensive financial analysis was conducted for this project. This yielded these figures. These positive figures indicate that the business case for the construction of the Eneco BorWind wind farm will be profitable. Next is the development step of the project, which consists of these activities. This animation provides an overview of the parties that will be contracted for this project. The four main contracted parties are Siemens, chosen because it is the leading company in offshore technology and created the very successful wind turbine that will be implemented in this project. VBMS is the biggest and most reliable party for the construction and installation of subsea power cables. Van Oort is very experienced with offshore engineering projects and Eneco has worked successfully with them before. Ecofis is a holding of Eneco itself, making it a cheap and reliable party to work with. They will deal with monitoring the environmental effects of the project and the communication regarding renewable energy and the environment with interested stakeholders. The partners Eneco and Mitsubishi Corporation and the two main contracted parties for the construction of the wind farm, Siemens and Van Oort, will each delegate a special department that will work on this project in the same office on a regular basis. By doing this, good cooperation in the construction and maintenance of the wind farm is ensured, and the knowledge generated from this project can be shared and utilized for future projects by all of the involved parties. The final step of the project is the deploy step, consisting of these final two activities. According to the planned schedule, the Eneco BorWind wind farm should be operational about halfway through the year 2018. Because of the choice for an adaptive and flexible planning design, the actual completion of the wind farm could be several months earlier or later. This will be carefully monitored and communicated along the way. The parties contracted for the construction of the wind farm, Siemens and Van Oort, will also be responsible for its maintenance. The lifetime of wind turbines is estimated to be around 20 years. It is difficult to exactly determine a decommissioning schedule prior to construction, as unforeseen issues can arise during the installation and operation of the wind farm that could ultimately affect the decommissioning. It is also possible that old windmills will be partially renovated instead of removed. For big engineering projects like this, it is vital to take this step into account. A buffer of enough money needs to be held in reserve to carry out the decommissioning plan when the time arises. An extensive risk analysis has been conducted for this project. Some of these risks and the way they will be mitigated have already been described earlier in this film. It is very important that the risk will continue to be assessed and mitigated throughout the project. With this, the realization of the Eneco BorWind wind farm is complete.